Um, Once again, from the great minds of now I'm talking about, I am Ryan Book. This is Write a Verse with you. And I'll let you introduce yourself.
RadioB, Richmond, Virginia. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, like I said, 16 bars, first bar being, who is your favorite artist that you know?
That I personally know.
Mm-hmm.
That's controversial, man. What we doing?
What we doing?
What we doing here, man? Can I have a tie?
Definitely, of course. Yeah.
Okay. I have a tie. I have a tie between two. It ain't gonna, I don't gonna complicate it. Nicholas F and Michael Millions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
A
can't
lot
do
of people gonna say that's a cheat, but I mean, it's the truth. It's the honest truth. If they weren't my brothers, it would be the same answer. I can tell you that much. I guarantee no bias in the equation. They just the best rappers that I know. You know what I'm saying? So
all right, bar two. What's a song that you wish you were featured on?
in the world,
Yeah, in the world, Craig.
damn, these are tough ass questions, right?
22.
How to fucking damn. My whole brain is like, where do you start at? Success with Hove and Nas.
Okay.
Yeah, I could have fit in great on there. Not from a content standpoint, because I can't talk about success with them niggas, but but I'd have rap with them niggas. I'd have rap with them.
I like that one. Give me your best and your worst show.
My best and my worst. What kind of best show? Let's start there. It gotta be. I would have to say one of the Flag on the Moons. It's hard to pick one. They're always like high level, like the best vibe, the best production, the best audience. You know what I'm saying? So I can't pick which Flag on the Moon, but it would have been one of the Flag on the Moons. Worst show, man. I don't know. Coming up in this shit, you know, you be in. I have a theory as 5 of 5,000. You know what I'm saying? They all get the same show. You know what I'm saying? From me, as far as an effort standpoint and all of that. And there's definitely been some fives. There's definitely been some fives in the audience. You know what I mean? Like,
is there a show you remember when you were off your game though? Or
I was off my game?
You picked the wrong. Because I know the reason why it came up to me, because like my worst show was we had a song that was popping in Richmond, like at the Baja Club. And it was called White Friends.
I know exactly what it is. I know exactly the answer to this. Now,
go.
Now, this is not my fault. It's not my fault. And shout out to homie Craig from Lyric Ave. I just actually went and performed at his new open mic, and he showed me a lot of love. I was doing it. I was wanting to show love to his new open mic, but he was showing me love when we got there. But there was a time long ago where he did not take care of me so well. No offense to Larry Ave, no offense to Craig, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna paint the picture for you, and you're gonna know exactly why this was not an ideal situation, specifically in Richmond, Virginia. Okay. It was they have this thing called Lyric Ave, and this was probably, I don't know, early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? I'll say that. And I was performing at Tuesday Versus a lot during this time, which is a huge root, it's a part of my roots, and how I developed, a following and also got my chops with performing and everything. But because of my performances there, he's like, yo, you gotta come perform at Lyric Ave. You know, they were doing this thing in this huge like theater. It's like a, I can't remember, I don't even remember the venue, but it was like a stage play type of theater, big spot. It was getting pretty popular. He's like, yo, you gotta come perform at Lyric Ave, da da da. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I'll come do a couple songs. Like that's, he was like, yeah, it's just a couple songs, whatever. I'm like, cool. So we get there. It's like some other performers scheduled to perform as well. I guess it's probably like 8 of us. I had no clue. I ain't have no details. He goes up and before he introduces the fact that we're coming on stage to perform, he's like, yeah, we have a series of performers that's gonna be coming up, da da da. And he's like, so what we gonna do? We're gonna do this like the Apollo, you know what I'm saying? And you know, if you like them, cheer, and if you don't like them, you know what to do. And they, you know, they boo off the rip, like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Richmond niggas can't wait. They like, nigga, I've been waiting my whole life for this. For this opportunity, what? To boo a nigga freely? I'm about to boo everything. I'm about to, so immediately when he says that, I'm like, what kind of shit? I should have just took the cue off the rip. Like, nah, I'm not doing that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you think about the real Apollo Theater and the success rate of anyone that attempts to rap in that environment. Niggas don't get 4 bars in, Sandman sweeping their ass off the stage. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching people get turned around. Ooh, they eat niggas up. What I don't also realize at this time behind the curtain is these are theater lights. And the thing about theater lights is they're bright on the stage so that it makes the stage bright for the audience.
Yeah.
But the people on the stage cannot see the audience. When I say cannot see, it's a whole theater full of motherfuckers. And you can't, you see blackness. I mean blackness. I not know a couple spotty faces. I mean literally like looking into void. So I'm coming out there looking into void, trying to rap into the void. And as you can imagine, the boos come raining down. And yeah, that had me hot. That was one of the, when I say mad, boy, I was upset. That upset me. I probably, like, shout out to the homie Craig, because we've been cool for a long time, but it's one of those things that I had held on to for a long time. Like, yo, you set me up for that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a name, bro. Don't, you know what I'm saying? I was still young though. I wasn't the RadioB I am now by any stretch, but that shit was crazy. Like, don't ever put me into a situation like that. But yeah, that would be my worst experience on a stage for sure.
Okay. All right, bar 4. Explain the hip hop at Virginia Union situation.
Oh, so artists in residence. Shout out to Ricky Parker. Ricky Parker is like the director of like Virginia Union hip hop. I want to say that's the name of his title, but that he pretty much runs the hip hop at VUU situation. And he had reached out to me a few years ago when I released Jesus Never Wore a Suit to come and do a lecture on it there at the school. So that was my first engagement with Virginia Union. And then obviously, you know, we've kept in contact, and he asked me what I thought about becoming artist in residence. And we had some conversations about what that might entail, you know, and this, you know, just coming up with different concepts and things that I can do to engage the student body, and also provide a bridge between the student body and the hip hop scene in Richmond. So that was the objective. Only thing about it is last year they were had a lot of transitions and budget, clearances and a lot of things in order to, we weren't able to do as many things as I would have liked, you know what I mean? But I'm supposed to be being artists and residents again this year. So hopefully, if it's up to me, we'll have a lot more events and things to do. But it was dope just being a part of the school, and we did the God tier class. I did a couple of other events with them, and just being able to not only engage with the student body, but bring people from outside the school into the school and be able to educate. And if nothing else, God tier and the curriculum and the class itself was birthed. Did that myself and Nicholas F. And I've been able to actually go and teach lyricism in different forms, and mostly to kids, mostly to like teens and younger, which has been an incredible experience. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that. So you'll definitely get that from a content perspective and an events and an independent event perspective. Because I mean, it's cool teaching it to kids, but it was cool teaching it the first time to adults, people that of our age, where like I'm teaching them. The cool thing about teaching them is that they know the records and they know the artists, you know what I'm saying? But they're getting to understand the lyrics and the mechanics of lyricism in a way that they never did before. And to be able to unlock that for somebody that knows the music is another thing, because it's like, it really does tell you where you stand with it. You know what I'm saying? That where you stand with it is you have a different understanding, and also realizing, damn, there is a gap between me and my understanding and me writing this and my audience. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, damn, I'm thinking we all getting this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking we all looking at it, but I know that we're not. But to understand how, like, when you see those light bulbs go off, or people like, that have been listening to this music for 20 years come out of there like, I listen to everything different now. You're like, because they're so excited about it. The kids are like, they're like, okay, that's cool, but they're not like as excited. Like, like our age group, when they learn something about some shit, you know what I mean? It's like, damn, I was listening to that all that time and didn't hear these things, or didn't know that this was an actual technical thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that this is actually the intention behind all of this. It sounds good to me. It's music to me. You know what I mean? But the writing, the mechanics, and the technical aspects of it, I didn't realize were as in-depth as they were. And it's like, oh, wow, it's great to be able to uncover that for people. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that's probably the best thing that has come out of the artist in residence situation so far. And hopefully this year, something even more amazing comes from it. But we'll see.
Where have you found that you create music the best? In the studio, in the car, on the clock? Where do you come up with most of your rhymes?
Most of my rhymes come up sitting right here in this chair, but I would say that I come up with music best in the studio. I just don't do that often because I don't be trying to take up. It's not that it takes a lot of time, but I'm not, we not 20 something years old, you know what I'm saying? And like, even when we was, it's like, you're not just about to just like, I don't know, Mike, I record with Mike. He lives across the street from me now, and it's kind of crazy because I would have thought I'd be over there all the time, but we grown, man. We got schedules and shit, you know what I'm saying? Life be lifing. And I don't see this man. I wouldn't even see him every week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like maybe once a week for sure. You know what I'm saying? But when we were building these houses, we was giddy like I was gonna be over there every morning, like with my coffee cup. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the thought. The thought was, yeah, I'm gonna be walking across this yard with my coffee cup every morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how we gonna rock. But it just ain't. Hopefully, maybe we'll get there one day. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't there right now. I'm gonna go over there today, though. You know what I'm saying? But but it we just don't have that freedom always to just be like, yo, I'm gonna just sit up in the studio and turn some beats on, especially for my own shit. Like it's cool when we working together, you know what I'm saying, on some 10,000 hour shit or something, you know what I mean? But otherwise I do it here, you know what I mean? But I know that being in that element where I'm just in the studio and it's like turn the beat on, that moment.
Yeah. Like
it's real fast for me, and I feel like my best verses come from that. You know what I mean? Or if you invite me, or somebody invite me to a studio, which I don't really like. It's like going to other people's house. I don't really like going to people's studio, but if I'm in a studio with somebody, it's like that. Features and stuff on the spot. It's the adrenaline. So I like that, but most of my verses come from me sitting in this seat right here.
Okay. All right. Bar 6. What is a battle that surprised yourself? Like you said, you like surprise yourself. If that's that question.
Like in an MC battle?
Yeah, a battle that you were in. Yeah.
Battle that I was in that surprised myself. Probably the first one, the Bravo battle. Okay. And I won't say it surprised me, but when you not now, mind you, when I say first organized, that structured battle. When we battled, I battled plenty of times on the improv coming up before there was a smacking any of that.
Yeah.
But when it came to that format of battle rap, that was definitely one of those situations where it's like, I know what I could do, but you don't know how that's going to play out. You know what I'm saying? So everything is like kind of new. So it's like for everything that I was doing to get the reaction that it actually was getting was like, wow, like it was an experience. You know what I'm saying? Even when I watched that battle back, it's like watching my favorite movie. You know what I'm saying? It never loses its entertainment factor. You know what I mean? Like I love that battle for everything that it meant to. You know what I'm saying? Beyond, and for everything that came from it, I say that one for sure.
Explain the scene your first time recording in the studio. Like, was it a big studio? Was it a house studio?
Like I said, Illa Styles' crib.
Okay.
Illa Styles' crib. He had the upstairs. He had a whole in his crib. He had the upstairs like little loft area in his bedroom. And I remember the first time we recorded, the mic was set up in a little loft area. I was recording for Kaneda's cassette tape. This was my third written rap.
Wow.
And he gave me like my own, shout out to Kaneda for this, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I don't know where my track would be if I didn't have certain people around me at the time. Like when my first 3 raps, I were spit to Kaneda in study hall in high school. Because he was, what made me rap, and I'll keep this short, was there were people in my school that rapped, and it was ciphers at football games or ciphers in the hallways. That shit intrigued the hell out of me. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, for me, it wasn't external. It wasn't like, people like, yo, I was listening to KRS, or I was listening to such and such, and it ain't that for me. For me, it was the people around me. You know what I'm saying? So Kaneda was one of those people that rapped, and he had tapes out, and you know what I'm saying, and all of that. So like me writing my first, I remember I wrote my first couple raps. Like, the first one was awful. Second one was, he was like, there's something there. And then by the third one, he was like, yo, that shit is hard. He's like, yo, you should come record that joint. And I recorded it, and he put it on his tape and gave me like my own little like interlude with. At that time, my name was Blitzkrieg.
Okay.
So that was the first couple bars was like Blitzkrieg, bite my shit and your lips bleed. Like that was my first recorded bar. That was my first recorded bar at Ellis Styles Crib.
That's fire. I like that. All right. Shit. Lead right into it. How many names have you been through?
2. Well, 3, I guess. Blitzkrieg, Blitz, RadioB. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you change to RadioB?
There was another MC out of Queensbridge that used to run with Nas named Blitz. And we start like coming across the same like websites and stuff. And I'm like, you got more motion than me. I need to come up with something else. And I think in my mind, I remember at some point saying like, yo, how come no rapper ever call himself Radio? Because, the radio, the boombox has always been such an iconic symbol in rap. And it just sounds like such a fresh word, you know what I'm saying, at that particular time. And I was like, as I started thinking about new names, I'm like, radio. I was like, okay, it's RadioB. And then, so for me, it was like, it symbolized hip hop, like the boombox, the radio symbolized hip hop. You know what I mean? So it's like when people see that, they think hip hop. So I was like, that's what I wanted. I want it when people see me for them to think hip hop. And it's funny now when I think about that, saying that now, knowing that's how people view me, at least, in the city that know me here, you know what I'm saying? Like, definitely people view me as the hip hop guy, you know what I'm saying? From one aspect or another, whether they know me as an artist or they know me as the founder of Rap Elite or, you know what I mean, as a battle rapper or whatever, they know like that guy right there, he's a hip hop guy, you know what I'm saying? So
it worked out.
Yeah, so
right.
manifestation.
Pick one. You had a Vibe article and a Source Hip Hop quotable, or the Double XL Freshman. Which one would you rather have?
We talking about
then, of course,
golden era Source. That's a tough question, right? The hip hop MC in me says the Source quotable, easy. The artist in me says, if I have a Vibe article, that means that I've ascended to a certain place, right? And it's likely to be more in depth. So when I was coming up, you kind of like fantasized about what a journalist would write about you as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always want to know, but that was when journalism was journalism, right? When there was an art to people writing about art. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really doesn't exist anymore. You know what I'm saying? I ain't say it doesn't exist, but it kind of doesn't. You know what I'm saying? At least not at that level. Definitely not at that level. You know, everything is like watered down or clickbait or whatever. But at that time, like, it was interesting to see what people wrote about other artists. You know what I'm saying? And I think we always would like to know, like, yo, how does somebody that has a real ear and a real pen describe me as an artist and describe my music? So I think an in-depth article intrigues me too, because it's like, damn, like what would they have sat and thought to write about me? You know what I'm saying? Or about my album or whatever it is that they're writing about, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a kind of like two sides of a coin. Like, you know, the rapper in me wants to get that source quotable, you know what I'm saying? But the artist in me wants to know what is somebody's deeper thoughts about about my art. You know what I mean? How do they articulate that?
That's right. That's right. I like it. All right. How did the mural come to be?
Man, the midst of the pandemic, the midst of protests, all of that going on at the same time, Nils Westergaard hits me up and he lets me know that there's possibly a organization that's putting together some money to fund some murals, and that he had a concept that he felt like I would be the best person to, and I guess align with, and which was to say their names, mural concept with me with my hands up and all of the names of slain police victims, which those names were done in graffiti by Silly Genius. Silly Genius did the art on my walls here.
Both of them, are they from Richmond? Where are they from?
Yeah, both of them are from Richmond.
Okay. Can I ask, what did you have a project out at that time? Like, did you have a relationship with them, or did a project at the time lead them to you? Or
yeah, I've known Nils for a long time. I've known him because he also did the murals for Nick. He did the mural for Mike. He did the mural for Anakin and Obliv. I knew him before that though, because he had did a video for Nick. We didn't have like this deep, like he has more of like a friendship and regular interaction with some of the other artists that he's done work with. But it's like, even then it was more of his admiration for them and what they did artistically that kind of drew him to them. And he was actually going to do the artwork for Jesus Never Wore a Suit originally. And I made a pivot just creatively, like where I was at that time. I made a pivot to have someone else do it. We hadn't really like interacted too much prior to that for a while. Nothing wrong or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? But it was always like, I've always been a huge admirer of his art because he's got murals all over the world. And he so he just felt like his thing was just like, for what this is, your music and the stance that you have had in the community, whether that be, at that time I wasn't out heavy in the streets doing the protesting, because one, I felt like there were people that were hijacking that situation and creating, they weren't there for the right reasons, right? So there's that, and then there's also COVID was going on, and I was taking care of my mom, so I'm like, I can't be out in the street and then come home and give my mom COVID, right? So, but I spoke at, a protest or two, and I think just the stance that I take in my music, it was specifically a song that I had called When 16 Ain't Enough. That was kind of like where he felt like what I was speaking on in that record, which was far prior to George Floyd and all that. It actually started out as a spoken word poem that I did in a poetry slam. I did one poetry slam contest and won it. Shout out to Roscoe Burns and the Writers Den. And I ended up turning that into a song on Jesus Never Wore a Suit. So that was what kind of was the catalyst of why he felt like it made so much sense. So it was just really art inspiring art, ultimately. Silly Genius. So the way that Mending Walls worked was that they paired artists from different backgrounds together to collaborate on one piece. So it was multiple pieces throughout the city where they brought artists together to collaborate. So Silly Genius, I knew because he did the Richmond mural in Southside.
Mm.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Where the Southside?
It's like it's coming up Hall Street. It's what is that gas station there? Damn.
Before the plaza?
Right before the plaza. It's across one whole building. I'll send it to you. If you see my King Kong video.
Okay.
Damn, it's like we did that video there in front of that mural. And when we did the video, he had came out, and that's where I met him at. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, like that's how I came in contact with them. And at the time, so I had to meet with Nils. He took a picture of me, and I didn't know if it was actually going to happen. He's like, it's right now something that's pending. I'm not sure if it's going to go through, but I'll keep you updated. I never heard anything. It's like maybe like a couple months go by, and like I'm like, I was having a great day for a whole nother reason, but I was sitting down, I was putting some furniture together for my mom, and I get this text, and it was Hip Hop Henry had dropped a picture in our group chat, and the picture was him was driving down Broad Street and took a picture of Nils actually like working on the mural. You know what I'm saying? So it was like an outline of my face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, what? I'm like, yo, I gotta go. Like I dropped everything.
Uh-huh.
I called Mike. Mike met me down there, and yeah, it was an interesting day, man. That was an interesting day. Like
Bar 11. What was more memorable? Your first time owning the cipher, your first time riding home listening to yourself, or your first time performing?
damn.
Yep. Every single time you thought that's the answer, the next one like,
It's definitely not my first time performing.
A word. Okay.
No, because that doesn't have the same level of gratification, right? Like it takes some time to perform. Let me not say that, because I think actually my first time performing might have been in high school, and we did like some, I don't know if it was like a Black History type of situation, but it was me, Mike, and some others, and we kind of it was something of that nature, but it was in front of like, it was like an audit, it was like when what's
Assembly?
An assembly. I've been out of school too long. It's like an assembly. So like, we got all the love, you know what I'm saying? Like, getting up there, we killed it. And then we got all that love that you get, from being in school. That's a whole different vibe. So when I thought about my first performance, I'm thinking outside of that, you know what I'm saying? And those are more jarring, because you kind of gotta, you learning the ropes of that, and it's nervous because you never been in front of these strange people. I mean, I started rapping, I was young.
Yeah.
Where like, you know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna say listening to myself for the first time probably was the most gratifying. The cipher, owning a cipher is heavy. That's I don't know, right? I don't know, bro. Those two right there are up there. You know what I'm saying? They are up there. But I don't think nothing feels better than listening to yourself after you record something that you like. You know what I mean? You still enjoy that,
Yeah.
and so especially like, I think the only other thing that would have been you might want to add this to add some more complexity.
Instead of asking the question of when you thought you made it, I asked, what is something that you never thought you would do when you first started putting pen to the paper?
Mural.
Easy.
Mural, for sure. Because what? That shit still don't math. You know what I'm saying? I'm alive. I could go see it. Yeah. That don't matter to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And can go see my homies too, though.
And I can go see my homies too, though. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and yeah, it don't matter to me, but it's incredibly, it's incredible that my pen and who I am created that opportunity. So I say that lands first on the list. And I'll probably say teaching, you know, I'm teaching lyricism, right? Like, so I know those aren't the two most rapperish things.
That's the point of of something you never thought.
Yeah, those are the two things that I think are like kind of crazy. You know, and running a close third or maybe running neck and neck with the second is, you know, I have a career now in brand strategy. That I work for a brand consultancy firm, and I didn't go to school for that. I never been to college. I don't have a college degree. I didn't do anything but be who I am in the music world, and I've created brands like RadioB, like, you know, Mama Joe's collection, stuff like that, which have positioned me in a place to where I'm respected enough creatively to be brought into that type of career where that's never, you know, for them, that's completely outside of the spectrum of what they would do. And obviously for me, it's completely outside of the spectrum of what I would have expected, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately it boils back down to me as an MC creating that opportunity through the channels that, but everything that, so every brand that I've created is because of that though. Like the legitimacy of me being able to do these things, except for maybe Mama Joe's collection. But even the reception of that comes off the heels of my reputation as a creative and as a hip hop artist. You know what I'm saying? So that allows me to, gives me validity in that space. So it's like, yeah, those are the things I would say is like, man, I wouldn't have thought that rap necessarily would have took me there. I thought of it taking me a lot of places.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That I haven't gotten to, but it wasn't those. You know what I'm saying?
Bar 13. Any recording cheat codes?
I would say this is not something that I do readily anymore, but that's because I've kind of mastered my way of recording. But I would say for anyone else, no, you know, memorize your shit. Because it allows you, like, if you really, really know it, you know, it allows you to break free from reading it, breaking free from thinking about it. You can truly like embody and now perform and think about how you want to say things as opposed to just getting them out. The reason why I say for me, I don't always practice that anymore is because now I'm able to do both at the same time. I can read the lyrics and it won't sound like that. I can focus on, because the way I'm writing them, I'm writing my performance into it. And I don't know, I've been doing it a long time. So that's just, it is what it is. It's gonna give that. I'm gonna give that regardless.
So next one. From RVA Rap Elite to Flag on the Moon, Kill the Dreamer. These are ventures that you aren't so much the artist, but you're providing a platform for artists. What sparked that interest and that confidence to do that?
Each of them are a little different. I would say rapidly, the inspiration comes from the what I was seeing as a deterioration of emceeing and the process of getting to validate yourself as a rapper, which also, if you skip that process, you're also skipping a lot of development that's needed to be the MC or the artist that you could be. And I saw that leading to a deterioration in the type of music we were getting in the culture in general around rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just wasn't, the word MC wasn't being used anymore. You know what I mean? Especially not in Richmond. And the only time it was is in battle rap, which I owned a battle league at that time, which also helped lead to my eventual full-on concept of what Rap Elite could be and how it could work in this era. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, how can we reverse engineer this? Because what was happening with social media is like, people like, oh, I'm a rapper now. Like, I got a SoundCloud, I got an IG, I got some beats from YouTube, I record with my homie. I ain't ever been outside and rapped a day in my life. No one ever told me I could rap, but I'm an artist. That shit did. So everything that we talked about prior to this, right? So this is a great, segue, you know what I'm saying? But like, all of that things you asked me about, those were all the experiences that give me the confidence that I have in the studio to be the person that I am, right, in the studio. You know what I mean? And not only the confidence, but the skills, the technique, right? The mastery. There is no mastering. There's not even the beginning seedlings of mastery. It's all of us. Immediately, I'm an artist. Yeah. I'm just there. You know what I'm saying? I'm in your inbox telling you should listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you that been doing this for however long, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That you should listen to me. And you a hater if you're not listening to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, my man, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all have no clue. Like, you're killing yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, yo, how can I knew I had the respect as an MC. I might not be the most popular rapper in Richmond. I might not be the most popular rapper in the world. I definitely not know that. But there's one thing that I knew people respected me for, and that was my pen, and that was being a dope lyricist. You know what I'm saying? So they might say, oh, you ain't got the most, you ain't got no hit records, but they ain't nobody saying this nigga can't rap, right? Like, that wasn't, but it was also still like, you can't just be this older nigga coming out here saying, yo, y'all gotta come out and do these open mics. I wanted to do Lyricist Lounge, like, in Richmond. Like, how can we create something that's like Lyricist Lounge in Richmond? So Rap Elite's first year was called RBA Lyricist Lounge. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how do we, but I don't want to just try to do no open mic. Like, that should have worked for like a month, and then people like be over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's not what this era is about, right? And then the older heads, they got other shit to do. You know what I'm saying? They ain't just coming out to rap just to be rapping. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you make this something that is attractive to a newer generation and sustainable for generations that have been missing this element or this nostalgia or this feel? And the battle rap aspect is what helped me tie it together, because in battle rap, you have the battles, but they live on in the footage. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, okay, what we could do is we can film these ciphers, and what I said, the young folks, this generation wants content for their social media. So if we film the ciphers and then we provide them their own personal clip of their performance, then they have content to post. So then that circulates it. So now we're in the social media digital space, but we're also giving that live experience that people are missing, them coming out and rapping. And that was what helped us bridge the gap and made it unique, but also nostalgic. So we basically remanufactured the feel that I would have had going to Lonnie B's, networking events every Tuesday. And, those was like my 8 Mile days, and I think about it now, I'm like, yo, we have like 30 MCs that sign up every month and they spend the whole month focusing on one verse. That was my dream at the time when we started this. Like, yo, for young people or different people or even old heads to come back out. We've had MCs from age 13 up to age 48 in our ciphers. You know what I'm saying? So that was the goal. Bring the people out that stopped rapping because they didn't fit in to like trying to get into the game, but they still rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what we did. We just came out to rap. It was rapping for the sake of rapping.
Yeah.
So to have, I didn't think that there would be 30 every month that would be dedicated to it like that, but that's what we had, and I think we got so used to it now. We about to start season 7 that we forget how precious that is, how abnormal that is. Like that's not happening anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? There's no other place that is happening. This is 2023, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? We've made it so normal that we have these 30 MC ciphers and these MC battles, and you know what I'm saying? And artists that are 19 that are in ciphers and doing like, I don't think I think people totally miss how special that is.
Yeah.
And although we're successful, I get a little annoyed with hip hop heads, you know what I'm saying, for not kind of like diving into this, because you can't tell me that you want lyricism. You can't tell me that you want hip hop. You can't tell me that you want raps and bars and you don't support this, or you don't want to just be in the proximity of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even want to just be there. Like, you don't want to see it. Like, you can't give a fuck about this shit for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me. You know what I mean? That's because I can't imagine. I often try to take myself out of it and look at it if it wasn't me doing it. And I don't know, like, to me, that shit would be like a playland to me, especially as an MC. Couldn't have been me back then having a platform like this. As a rapper at 20 something, 18, 19, I tell them all the time, like, yo, y'all would hate me. I'd be obsessive about this shit. Cause that's how I was about the Lonnie shit. You know what I'm saying? Every week I was going down there, I was trying to kill everything. You know what I'm saying? So, but as a fan at 40, you know what I'm saying, 41, I would love to just go and attend some shit like this, you know what I'm saying? And just be like, yo, wow, this exists still in 2023 and it's in my city. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is crazy. And now, full circle moment, we got the stamp from Aunt Marshall, and we changed the name. Aunt Marshall is the original founder of the original Lyricist Lounge.
Word.
Yeah. So for those that don't know the history of Lyricist Lounge and, like those albums and the MTV show, and, like everybody came up through there, like Eminem's first New York performance and Biggie's like album release party were all Lyricist Lounge events. And you know what I'm saying? Like Kweli, Mos Def came up through that platform. You know what I mean? Like, it had the same energy. Like, they were like started out ciphers in the park, and then they started going into these little spots and having these events. And you got young 15-year-old Foxy Brown, and it's
that's wild.
And for him to say like, yo, what you're doing is the next generation of that, and I like you're in line to do exactly what has been done before. And if you want to use my logo and place it on your productions or events, you know what I'm saying, you have the cosign to do that. is incredible, especially considering we had Jack the Name the first year. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I remember like this is early, like second, third episode. It was being promoted, and I think he had like commented on one of the posts that somebody made, and he was like, "Yo, who, ain't nobody stamped this, so you know what I mean, like who gave freedom to use the name?" And for me, I wasn't thinking of it like that.
Yeah.
Lyricist Lounge, we have embodied that as just we're not thinking brand, we're thinking what it represents, right? It wasn't, and I think I've seen that a million times as an MC, you know what I'm saying? But I guess the way we was moving, it had some motion to it. So it was like, yo, what y'all doing? I need to get in contact with somebody. And at the time I was like, I ain't know, it was just scary to me. So I was like, damn, all right, let me just make and which was the proper thing to do. It was like, yo, nah, you make your own shit. You know what I'm saying? So we got through the season, and then, we've been rapidly ever since. And I'm grateful for the fact that we did that so that we can establish our own legacy. But to have that stamp full circle is dope. And it's funny. It's a funny thing that we get to kind of like share now. It's like, and I think he got love for that. You know what I'm saying? So you see the shirt I have on now. Right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this was our first season hoodie. So anybody that got these, they've been around from the jump.
I like that. All right, bar 15. What is your favorite hip hop album ever?
Reasonable Doubt.
Easy. Okay.
I say Fuji's The Score, close second.
Okay.
Maybe it's up there though. I love that album.
16th bar is a who, what, where, how situation. Who is RadioB?
An MC. Well, let me start with what I'm first. First, I'm a Black man. Second, I'm a Christian. Third, I'm an MC. I'm a family man. And I guess before all of that, I'm a human. You know what I mean? And like, and all of those things are very layered. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm just a guy that really believes in culture and helping people and myself and the people around me like reach their aspirations and dreams and however I can, and just still navigating and finding the best ways to fulfill this purpose. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay. What is your style?
Style as an MC?
Yeah, musically, yeah. To
be the best, to not be the best, but to be as well equipped and well-rounded to do everything that an MC is supposed to be able to do. So that's from a technical bar standpoint, that's from a live performance standpoint, that's from a songwriting standpoint, album curation standpoint, battle rap standpoint, social commentary standpoint, having a voice when it matters, and speaking on the things that matters, but being able to do it in a way that actually touches people. Is not like just you got this record saying this to say you got a record talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like actually be impactful. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's like anything that I do in this, I want to do it at the level that I've seen it done best at.
Okay.
So if it's punch, any aspect. So like that's what I'm always chasing. So I'm a little bit of everything. I'm introspective, but I got records that could be hit records with the right budget and all of that behind it. You know what I mean? But just being a well-rounded MC.
Okay. Where? As in clothing line. Do you have a clothing line? Or?
I do. I'm known for two very specific clothing brands. One being Richmond's Own. So if you've seen Richmond's Own shirts anywhere, which I'm pretty sure you might have, those are mine. We're not gonna get into the influence that they've had on Richmond shirts. I'm just gonna say Richmond's Own existed in 2017 for the very reason that there weren't Richmond shirts, there were only RBA shirts. I think there's some people that do Richmond shirts great, but I think my whole point is just that they weren't around in 2000. And the reason I made it was because they weren't around. And not to say that because I wanted to say that, but that was kind of like the mantra is like, yo, we need to like have pride in Richmond and be proud of being from Richmond. And that's why it has it up and down the sleeves and on the front and on the back. You can't miss it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like people be like, yo, I go to DC, bro. It's like it's like 6 people talked to me in the last hour about this damn shirt. You know what I'm saying? So, we done put it on the mayor, we done put it on some people, and I've never done a mass distribution of that. So it's like when you see them, it's because they be people's favorite damn shirt. You know what I'm saying? And they wear them that often. You know what I mean? and because some of the most visible people rock them. The other brand, which I'm even more proud of, is Mama Joe's collection, which is I started in 2020 during the pandemic. Basically, I take images of my mom's abstract art, and I use those images and manipulate those images into clothing designs. And yeah, that's been incredible as well. We've done RBA Fashion Week 3-4 times, and I got to have my mom sit right there on right at the runway, and that was one of my last that was one of my last real great experiences with my mom, was her getting to see her art come down a runway. But literally the first month that we started this, I had just on some shot in the dark Instagram shit, I sent it to Dapper Dan in his DM. And you're like, these people never gonna look at this stuff, you know what I'm saying? But he did, and he went to the website and everything, and he hit me back, and he was just like, fire emojis. He said, I love it, the concept, the designs, all of that, and bro, you couldn't tell me shit. You know what I mean? At that point, to me, that's like Jay-Z being like, yo, your rhymes, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna no one ever could tell me I'm not a clothing designer from that point on. You know what I'm saying? Was like, nah, that's on my jacket. You know what I'm saying? Clothing designer now is on my jacket. It's like brand strategist. It's like I was doing it, but now it's on my jacket. You know what I'm saying? I'm a brand strategist because I do this professionally. You know what I'm saying? But from that moment, I was like, nah, clothing designer is on my resume. You can't take that away from me, because Dapper Dan said, I really do this. You know what I'm saying? Dapper Dan said, I really do this. I don't care what none of you say. I don't even care who wears it and don't wear it. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, But nah, we've had some great, it's been all over the place. It's been, and it's amazing to think about that. It's not just clothing items. Like, this is my mom's artwork that be walking around the earth. You know what I'm saying? And that's nuts to me. So yeah, I was always a huge fan of my mom's artwork from the time that she did it. And it was always something that she never really embraced as her being an artist. It was just something she was doing to, keep her mind off of pain and depression or whatever, and but I thought it was always brilliant. So I would always find different ways to highlight it. But this gave, a whole different light to it. And now it's a legacy that I get to extend and carry on, even beyond her time here. So yeah, I often have to remind myself to get back in that bag. So
all right. When you got something dropping, man?
I have music that's sitting in the vault from pre-pandemic. So I'm gonna get that out. I'm gonna start doing like weekly drops. We get that out. And me and Michael Millions, we started on 10,000 Hours as the sequel to 10,000 Hours. But it's crazy, man. We did, because we did that first project in 3 sessions. So, and this idea was like, we gonna do this quick again. We picked the weekend. Like, when I finished, the week I finished Stop Looking for Noise recording, the next day or 2 days later, we recorded 10 records for the sequel to 10,000 Hours.
Okay.
And then we stopped for no reason. For real, no reason. Like, literally no reason.
No, life be lifing.
Life be lifing. And then we realized now, as about a month ago, that those records that we have, which are great records, are 2 years old now. It's been 2 years. That's insanity. So we're like, we're gonna finish that. But I'm next year, I haven't been able to really write. I've really been able to write and record much, and that's been bugging me. So I'm gonna be in a bag. I'm gonna probably start releasing, and I'll say the same thing for Nick and Mike as well, is you'll start getting, it'll go from them having long droughts, both 5 years, and me having this short drought, because I don't really be having droughts. I drop every year. To like a lot of music concurrently for who knows how long. So
sounds good.
We'll feed the streets soon enough.
All right, looking forward. I'm looking forward to that. All right, the last bar being how can people follow what you're doing, support what you're doing?
Radio Blitz on Instagram, killthedreamer.com, RBA Rap Elite, RBARapElite.com, Southpaw Battle Coalition on YouTube, Mama Joe's Collection, MamaJoeCollection.com. That'll do it.
Okay. Well, that's 16 bars, man. That's a verse, man. I enjoy it.
Yeah, man. It's the longest verse I ever kicked, man.
When y'all met, were all of y'all already rapping when y'all met, or did y'all start rapping together?
Yeah, me and Mike. Mike was rapping when I met him, and I wasn't. But when I started rapping, very shortly after I started rapping, we formed a group. Myself, him, and Demise, my homie Demise. We were called Trilogy. This is in high school. And Illa Styles was recording us then. So Illa was ahead, you know what I mean? He had been rapping the longest. He had been recording himself. Illa had all the cool shit. Like, we was in high school. Like, he's the first human being I know that had a CD burner. Like I didn't know what a CD burner was. Okay. It's like listening to your first complete project, or listening to a complete project for the first time.
I like that.
That's a feeling. That's a motherfucker right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, even to this day, you know what I'm saying? And you finish a project, that first listen to the mix and master
all the way through.
Yeah, there's nothing more gratifying than that. Ain't nothing more gratifying than that.
That's definitely good added to the
You know, you asked some good questions. These are really good questions. I'll say that. You got some gem stories out of these questions that I don't think have, you know, come out on other interviews. So shout out to
I mean, being an artist, you just remember, because it started with a lot of artists I was doing that wasn't making music anymore. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then it just that whole memory lane of it.
Right.
I got a couple of young artists because somebody seen me do it. I was like, well, I want to know what the young artists think also with some of these same questions. Because like 10 of them gonna be the same almost, you know what I mean? Like it's so much trying to personalize, but most of them kind of the same. I just be kind of curious, you know what I mean? Like that. And that question, that cipher, I always watch their eyes go up, like cipher, of course. Oh no, first time recording. Oh no, stage. Like it go in that layer.
Right.
So, like I said, I have just so much fun, dog. Like just